Gather, veterans. It's time to join the fight. The long war begins.
This is The Long War. I'm Rob Bear, and joining me once again are my partners in crime, Kenny Boucher and Wyatt Turk. What's up, guys?
Yo, dog, great to be here.
Yo, what's up?
Kenny, we need to talk about how your background becomes more festive every week.
It's been like this since my birthday.
It's been your birthday for like 2 months.
Yeah. I turned 40, man. This is it. This is all there is left.
This is it?
I don't really think I'm getting another one, dude.
Man. What's it like to be old?
It sucks, dude. Shit my pants twice today. Like, I reset the clock to 0, and I was like, okay, well, at least it's going to be back to 1 by the end of the day. No.
I missed you guys last week. I feel like we weren't all together.
We were on the podcast together.
No, oh yeah, for like 5 minutes.
No, we did a whole podcast. We did an hour-long podcast, you and me, Rob.
Did we?
Why did the Would You Rather?
I was high on Picote for that. I don't remember that shit.
Oh yeah, you were drinking them electrolytes, right?
No, that was like 2 weeks. Dude, I got too bloated off that shit. I had to stop.
Too much sodium, dog.
Dude, I was like, I felt good, but like none of my clothes fit. And I was like, this ain't right.
Problem. This is super healthy. Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was like, well, something's wrong. Yeah, you gotta be more careful about that shit. Oh well.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
So we got a good one tonight. We did a little pre-game. We're gonna talk about some shit that's hot in the scene. We're gonna talk about some Desolators and some Eldar. We're gonna talk about the new GW app today. Those are our table of contents.
I want to talk about some cheaters.
Oh yeah, the deck building thing. It turns out everyone who wins 40k from here on out is cheating at deck building.
That's it. No skill.
And simultaneously, we have, in addition to our news section, we're gonna have a special Would You Rather with Wyatt. But Wyatt, I got a message from somebody the other day, DM on Instagram. Somebody was just wanted to tell me how much they enjoy the show. And they were like, I take all the Would You Rathers from the show, and then I go and tell my wife them like every week. And then I pose it to her. So like, that's their ritual now. It's like, he does a Would You Rather like every weekend with her. And it's always the brutal one from the show.
Warms my heart.
Thought you'd like to hear that. Anyway, let's roll out to the Cave of Wonders.
Would you rather, when you go to sleep, always be visited by night terrors? Or at some point, randomly, every night during your sleep cycle, you get woken up by a goose and you have to shoo it away?
Yo, first of all, let's talk about geese. I don't think people realize they poop as big as a dog and they're mean.
Does the goose poop in my bed?
No, he's sniffing at you with his beak, squawking, honking.
And all I have to do is shoo his ass away, and that's the end of it.
That's not how geese work.
I mean, he's mad.
It's magic geese, Rob. Remember that.
Like, it's an effort.
Is he gonna bite me? Is he gonna hurt me?
No.
But he's not gonna stop honking and hooting at me and flapping around and being an asshole until
Yeah, you gotta shoo him away. That's called a Canadian standoff.
That's not how that works.
It's magic.
These are mean.
Yeah, we all know that. I think every rational adult knows or has had an experience with a goose and acknowledges that geese are fucking terrifying. Like, they're super scary. That's why I had to establish that. Is this geese gonna eviscerate me? No. He's just there to piss me off. He's not there to do what normally a geese would do, which is to murder me.
Yo, so look at I don't know. I think I gotta get convincing argument here. You probably can't see this. This is my little heart.
How many times a night do you wake up?
On my watch? Yo, so straight up, as soon as I wake up, I'm instantaneously at 120, 150 BPMs. Like, when I wake up, I'm basically in a night terror. Like, reality is my night terror.
Oh,
how's your blood pressure?
Huh?
How's your blood pressure?
It's bad.
It's bad.
Do you take medication for it?
Yeah, I got pills.
He's got it right there in his hand.
But
you need some stronger shit.
Me waking up to reality is stressful.
So the goose would be just the worst for you.
Yeah, I feel like I want the night terrors.
I'll just take the goose, man. I ain't trying to fucking deal with no Freddy Krueger in my dreams. That's like Freddy Krueger is like, for me, the scariest of all fucking horror people. Like, cause I'm like, oh, machete wielding guy. Yeah, that's a physical, like grounded person. I can interact with that. I'm not an idiot, But guy who fucking goes into my dream.
Yeah.
Nah, dude. That's the word. Like, fuck that guy. So night terrors, it's always gonna be Freddy Krueger every fucking time. I know this already. I can't deal with that. And then I'll be exactly like the movies where I'm not sure if I'm awake or not, and that'll be my whole life now. So I take the fucking goose. I'm gonna deal with that every night.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna one.
Freddy Krueger's gonna show up in your dreams, and you're gonna be like, "This is a nice little vacation. What's up, dog?"
Yeah, this is adorable.
You ain't no goose.
Ain't no fucking this ain't reality. I can tell because my heart rate.
This ain't real life. Man, I was like, I don't feel good sometimes when I wake up. I'm like, why don't I feel good?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because you wake up fucking.
I think I dry out a little too much overnight too. Like I get a little.
It's a common concern for most lizards. You got to adjust the humidity in your terrarium.
I probably just need to run a humidifier like all the time.
And I've also heard from a lot of experts that a heat rock is not actually that great for a lizard. So you might want to consider just like a heat lamp. And that might help.
A heat lamp. I have some heat lamps on me right now.
Maybe you should get you some like chill out gummies. Hit one of those when you wake up.
Stop wearing two shirts all the time.
But then if I don't, I get cold.
But don't you complain about being kind of warm and dried out? I guess you can be cold and dried out. Okay, fair point. I don't know how thermodynamics work. I'm not a scientist.
It's only crazy if it doesn't work, Kenny.
Most of the things I speculate end up not working. So yeah, it tracks. Let's kick it over to Rob then. Good one, Wyatt. I choose goose, even though I know that's probably going to end up being a problem. Very problematic existence for me, but...
I mean, a goose is no chimpanzee, let's be real.
No, it ain't no samurai sword wielding chimpanzee.
Yeah, for real.
I like to think about the guy who chooses goose, but then also has to fight a rooster when he gets into his car in the morning.
Oh, think about that. Would you rather?
You have made so many bad...
Goose wakes me up. I fucking shoo him away. Then my alarm goes off 10 minutes later. And I'm like, I gotta go to work. I brush my teeth, shower, grab my pee jar full of urine, go to the car. And then literally there's a fucking rooster there that I have to fight. On the way, obviously, to work, I have to slam dunk an entire container of Miracle Whip because that's my breakfast.
Yep. And at some point, the chimpanzee's coming for you.
Yeah, in a year. I have a year to prepare. But I have all this also to deal with every day. So there's no way I do my training. So I'm getting endless anxiety knowing that the fucking samurai sword fight is getting closer and closer. And all I can do is just barely get to work without fucking not getting killed by a fucking rooster.
Savage.
100% savage.
I think you just described my everyday.
Yeah, that's Rob.
That's pretty much me. Ugh.
You want to do some news?
Yeah, let's do some news. So I got this really cool color coordinated sheet here. If you're watching live, you can see it. Because basically what's happening is if you want to buy the index cards for 10th edition, like the physical cards from your game store, it might be a little weird to get because G-Dub's making game stores buy them in bundles. So
I saw that from one of our store owner friends earlier today.
It's a little different. And not only that, they can only get one bundle of each. And the reasoning was, well,
I don't know. So I am rarely the guy that's like, I don't buy stuff because it'll be outdated, because I like to collect stuff from time to time. This time, however, I'm like really truly wondering how out of date these cards are going to be at launch, because stuff has already been changed and adjusted between like announcing stuff with previews, actually dropping the index, people being like, oopsie poopsie, that's way too fucking strong, and GW being like, you're right, let's fix it. And the game still isn't technically even out yet, at least not until Saturday. So like, I don't think I would buy them in the first place.
And we also have rules for things that we don't have index cards for right now, because they updated all the Forge World rules, which is I mean, it's cool because it's coming, but it's also a little vexing because you're like, well, I don't know what any of that shit does, but whatever, it's fine. So if you do want the physical cards from your local game store, you might be able to get them. You might have to look online for them. Obviously, this is probably going to be like a one print and done sort of deal. So if you do really, really want them and you like the format and like how they feel in your hands, hey, this is for you. If not, you can print them out online. There's a lot of tools out there. We got a link where you can get them in Magic card format, like 9 to a page, or there's some tools out there that you can get them 2 to a page, 4 to a page, whatever. I personally have old people eyes, so the 2 to a page or the 4 to a page wasn't going to work for me. The 2 to a page definitely worked a lot better.
What's like a normal page, 8.5 by 11?
Yeah, normal American print size, I guess, standard.
So like roughly postcard size, like
it's roughly postcard size. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems a little bit easier to read as far as I go, but I'm not speaking for everybody here. So the index card packs will range from $18 to $25, just depending on which ones you want. And of course, they will be going on pre-order this Saturday. Also, the Tyrannic War cards, the Leviathan mission deck rather, is $33.50. That is the same cards that come in the Leviathan box, except for their Magic card size. Leviathan is actually a bit more of a deal this time around because the rule book has the Crusade rules in it. So that's something that going to sell as a separate book for $60. So like if you get Leviathan, the rule book is actually better than the core rule book for $65. It has more shit in it. So that's kind of cool to see, because these cards are $33.50. This book is $65, and then the Crusade book is $60. So like right there, that's like $150 just in books. Now, to Wyatt's point, how long will it be relevant for? I don't know, but it is a decent amount of value to kind of.
Yeah, I can see like the mission cards being a good buy because you need those to play the game. Core rulebook, I think, is a good buy because having the core rules is like a nice thing to have in your bookshelf. It's meaty. It's got lore in it. It's got nice pictures and such. But I don't know. This time around, they've given us the free rules, the free erratas, the free indexes and data cards and points and all that.
Yeah.
And stuff is very rapidly going to be adjusted. It's like already been adjusted before release. So I wouldn't buy these card packs just because, I mean, like, if you think about it, like, if you're a Death Watch player, one of your stratagems is like straight up different out of the box.
True.
So that card is worthless to you. And like, how many other things are going to get changed?
Yep. I mean, I see your point. Like I said, you got to vote with your hobby dollars. If it's, you can obviously print that particular thing out and glue it or put it in a sleeve. Like, Kenny loves it when I do this, but I've already got, all my shit two to a page printed out. I got them in sleeves, if you're watching it.
Impressive.
Full binder.
Three ring binders. Got the USRs. Independent guys put out a USR printable.
At any point, did you use a red stapler?
I do not own a red stapler.
Somebody took your red stapler, dude?
No, I don't have. I got automatic staplers that in the warehouse, but I don't have them up here. So yeah, I think this stuff's good and it's going to be available for a while. G-Dub might have it might be hard for them to actually charge for this
there's
stuff.
Like a reason why the cards don't have points on them, right? Like a lot of people complain about that. It's like, well, the points are the thing that's going to change the most right now.
Yeah.
So think about how obnoxious it would be to have like graphic designed up all those cards in a nice PDF and the points are on them and the points are what you're changing the most. So no, like, your cards should be pretty, like, if you go up and you just download and you do what everyone's doing and print off the shit you want and the things that you need in your list. Like, I'm using the app right now to fucking make my list, and then I'm just printing the cards off of the fucking things in my list. That's how I'm going to do it, right? And so that's not going to go anywhere. You can even go an extra step in, like, postcard size is what you like. Bro, there's a million websites out there that you can fucking print, like, one postcard for, like, 10 cents. Like, so you can just go and I just already did it. I already have a folder and I just screen grabbed all the fucking data sheets and I just Gotta just throw them up on fucking Vista prints and just make a bunch of postcards 4x6s, or 2-sided prints.
Yep. And
It's like 5 cards. That's all I need.
Right. You can save them as JPEGs, print them out at, Walgreens, Walmart, whatever. There's ways to do the things, it's just not everybody owns a printer anymore from what I'm told.
Literally doesn't own one.
Fucking cleaning ladies broke my printer, dude. I'm so mad. I bought one that did double side printing too.
Man.
I was so high speed about it. And then, yeah, I'm to buy another one now.
How did they break your printer? What the fuck did they do?
Well, I assumed that they picked it up and dropped it because
and they just put it right back up on there.
Yeah, because when I went to go see, the door was all broken and the internals were all jacked up, and I was like, somebody dropped this.
No, I didn't pick it up.
Rob, you have a color laser printer now?
Yeah.
Nice. Yes, Carrie Quinn was talking about ink. Yeah, ink is printer ink is a mafia, dude. I have a couple of cheat codes on how to cheat the ink a little bit, Carrie Quinn. I actually have a black ink cartridge that it's been telling me is out of ink for a year. It still works because I tricked the machine into understanding it still has ink in it. But yeah, laser printer. Get one of those if unless you don't do any printing. But yeah. Rob has a sick laser printer, dude.
I think what I want to do is go to a Kinko's and see if they can do double side printing on cardstock.
Oh yeah, we'll do that.
That's what I would do.
Well, let's talk about some other stuff here. So we talked about the value inside the box. We'll talk about the 40k app a little bit later. It did want to touch on Star Wars Shatterpoint. If you haven't tried out that game, definitely think about it. There are some new releases coming out in 2 weeks. We saw the rules today for Obi-Wan and Vader, or yesterday probably rather. They are split era, meaning that you can play them with basically everything that's released out till now.
Let's go.
And also the Galactic Civil War stuff that'll probably be coming out a little bit later on. And
who's Vader allowed to play with? Does he have to go with the droids and shit? Or can he be with
anybody he wants? He's in both eras.
I'm so ready for some Vader and 501st.
He looks pretty rough. It looks like he's gonna really, really hurt whatever he touches. Vader bad touches models is what it looks like. And also I saw some people already got theirs and built them up. He doesn't have to be throwing the debris in the Obi-Wan show. So you can just build them where he's just has an open hand sort of. Nice. They look pretty neat. So definitely looking forward to that one. I do want to talk about also RTLW is doing a big summer sale till the 29th. So if you're looking for some great 40k alternatives, they got some really dope stuff over there for Eldar and Orcs. Most recent, a lot of demon stuff too, more recently as well.
They have CSM guys. If you like some Khorne Berserkers or one of the things they do is characters from the Black Knight or Black Library novels.
Oh yeah.
Totally not those characters, but it's those characters. But they have the ones from Cyphus Cain, some Inquisitors, the Black Legion book, where they have that little squad of characters. Super nice.
All their stuff is very good quality and definitely worth picking up for the price. I think it's really good value for the price for custom resin boutique level miniatures that you don't really find that out there as much. There's only a couple of people that really do it well, I think. What else we got to talk about? Oh, so UPS, United Parcel Service, not the Postal Service, has I guess authorized a strike that could potentially start August 31st or August 1st, rather, July 31st, one of those 2 days, which would be really bad. I mean, the hobby, a lot of stuff would be a bit slower, including GW, which uses UPS exclusively for their distribution. But today they did, Teamsters and UPS agreed on some points. So now it's just kind of down to pay, I guess. So hopefully that is 100% averted because, it's hard enough to get shit in stores, especially as we've seen with Games Workshop lately. Definitely don't need logistical problems getting the actual things to stores, even though they buy it, right? So there's that. So keep that on. Keep an eye on that one for the next months or so, I suppose. Obviously, this weekend is Leviathan launch weekend. So if you still want the box, there might be some out there to pick up, whether it's from your local retailer or some other online. GW is obviously sold out, unfortunately. But I think there's going to be a decent amount out there. And we know that the combat patrols are going to be a version of the miniatures that come in the box for both Tyranids and Space Marines. We've already seen them in there's combat patrol rules. So it's not going to be a big surprise when you can get them different ways, but just be aware that it'll be a little bit easier. I've seen people already selling the boxes for premium, for this weekend delivery. Not by much, but it's just like, is it really worth it? I feel like you could probably find them a decent amount closer to you out there. And I did want to also mention that we do have a free Lion Shield bits available on the site. You just got to pay for shipping. If you purchased a first night from us from 3D Art Guy, there's a shield bit available now. If you want to, if you happen to need a shield for your first night miniature that may make a great Lionel Johnson, well, we have that for you because I might have reached out to the artist and be like, yo, dog, can you make a shield for this guy? Because everybody wants the lion still. And he did. So special thanks to 3D Art Guy for whipping that up and getting it into our hot little
3D
hands.
Art Guy is awesome. He made me my otter for my mom.
Oh, did he? That's what's up.
He's a baller.
I think that's all the big stuff. I did, I'm sure we'll talk about the 40k app some. There was a little bit of news from Battlescribe where they said the data maintainers are working with some other folks that do apps and maintain data to kind of develop an open source format so that a lot of the army builder programs out there can all use the same source of data, so that it would be a lot easier for if one team did this, then all of these platforms could use it. I don't think that's going to apply to Battlescribe though, because the developer from Battlescribe is, quote, clown shoes. I think that's an actual quote from the data maintainers as conveyed to me. So be on the lookout for a lot of stuff out there. And there is an app right now. We featured it on the site today. I think it was Warhammer Builder or something. I forget the exact name of it, but I used it. It's pretty cool. And he's going to try to keep that as free as long as possible because, the 40K app will not be free for, a certain amount of time.
Yep.
Once the codex books start coming out, you're going to need a code to use it. And I think that might be a bit of a hard sell for them.
They said I think they said like the part of the app that is reference is free. And if you have a code, like you bought the codex, that's still free. It's if you want to use the actual Battle Force, like Army Builder component, you got to pay money. So I'm a little curious to see how that plays out because it's actually a different app than the other app, right? And they marked the other app as alt. Well, I currently pay these dudes for that old app. I've been paying them the whole time. Remember, like almost as a gag to see what they change and what they do. So I'm still paying them. So I kind of want to see what happens when I need to start paying them for the new one. I want to see if they just I want to see if they deliberately want to see how many people forget they're still paying them for the old one and then start paying for the new one. Like that kind of bullshit.
I thought it was just included in your Warhammer membership.
Right. It's one of my subscriptions is that other app.
I thought it was all in one. It's not multiples.
Well, it's two apps. It's two.
I mean like what do they call it? The My Warhammer thing. Isn't like everything included in the My Warhammer subscription?
I don't know. That's what I'm curious about.
I think it's just like you pay, what is it, like $5.99 for access to everything?
Is it just access to everything?
I think so.
So that's what I'm curious about. That makes the most sense. I'm just used to shady ass businesses trying to fucking nickel and dime me on a subscription,
I mean, if there's value there, I mean, the app works now. It seems, they're working on fixing things, but the app has not been good. And they promised they would fix it, and it did not. So I cannot get on board with that. but that's just me, and I vote with my hobby dollars.
You're not going to get on board with the new app?
I mean, maybe, but I'm not going to buy Codex books.
No, fuck that.
I just can't.
My friends are
can't
going to buy them, and I'm going to
that's-
ask them for the codes. That's how I've been doing it the whole time.
I don't even think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to use whatever free ones out there at this point, because every other company puts out free rules, and that's just how I feel about it.
I'm okay with GW charging me for the convenience fee. What I hate is that that I have to physically buy a physical fucking copy of it.
Well, yeah. I mean, if GW was like, yo, pay us $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever, and you get access to the whole fucking app.
Or a la carte purchases. I don't give a fuck.
No,
Let me
I'm not
scroll
doing that.
through.
This isn't a mobile game.
I don't care. Let me scroll through and be like, oh, Blood Angels. The Blood Angels Codex is dropped and the bundle deal is whatever, $50 digitally
dude.
in my phone.
Don't encourage that.
I only want 4 things from this book for 99 cents each.
I think that's a great system. D&D Beyond's been crushing it for years that way.
But I mean, at the end of the day, the amount of people that play D&D that make that worth it. For me, I mean, you can't, when you got Hulu and you got Netflix.
You got no legs to stand on this argument, Doug. I just curated the best model possible. It's free.
Yeah. Well,
you scroll through it. You can use your code, or you could just see
Just
the
make it
digital
$4.99.
download for $49.99. Or
No.
I don't care about 99% of the digital download for like I just want Dreadnoughts and fucking Corbulo. Click, click, click. So I spend $6. Let me do that.
I mean, dude, I think once you get over $5, just make it $5.
Yeah.
Just make it fucking
But
$5.
GW is always worried about making money. That's why I pitch this way. The reason they maintain a physical book presence is because they are themselves their own manufacturing publishing house. And they're always constantly worried that the digital sales will compete with the physical sales. Well, that's fine, because if you offer like a 99-cent like a la carte option, you'll find that like millions of little 99-cent transactions will be occurring all over the globe for just like this data sheet, that data sheet, in addition to some digitals, while many people still buy the books. You actually make money, dog. Still make the books.
I just don't think you can sell it like that. Maybe 99 cents for a whole book, because maybe people play like a max of 5 books. But I think it is etched in all our brains. You cannot convince me otherwise that we do not have a fucking threshold of $5 in our brains that is our hard cutoff for a subscription price at this point in time.
I mean, you're right, honestly. I've been brainwashed, actually. I said like $50 like 3 times there. I was like, motherfucker, I haven't bought a digital book for fucking $50. What am I thinking? Like, that's insane.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't want the whole codex anyways. Like, if they're gonna do a digital version, like, give me the option for just the rules for like of a lower price, and get all the other stuff in the book.
More options is better than less options.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I just think at the end of the day, people aren't going to spend $5 in their own way. Mm-hmm. So just make it $5.
No, I mean, I mean,
okay, so think about it like
that would be convenient. No.
Like, what are we going to pay for in this app, right? Because like this is going to be not only our app for rules resources, but for list building, right? Mm-hmm. What are they going to charge us for when the only thing listed in the app is like the army rule, the detachment rule, and stratagems, right? And then you can look up individual data sheets. Like, it's got to be either they give us the option to have just that as part of this app subscription, or give us more options for buying the book and a digital source. But like the whole thing of I have to buy this physical book simply to get a code to make the app I already pay for work, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's the part I can't stand. Like, because they made that change last time remember we used to buy digital copies from them. And then suddenly they said, we're not doing that anymore. So like, you can't use that. And so like, dude, do both. I don't fucking care. But you're right. Honestly, it would be the most convenient thing in the world to have a subscription model that just unlocked the rules. Like, I'm just so used to like buying a book for this and then that and then this that I forgot like a lot of other companies are just like, you're paying me a monthly subscription. Everything about our game is in this app now. No one set of rules is not available to you. Like, it's all of them for the subscription. Like, I agree with that. That's kind of like, That would make sense.
I don't know. We'll see. It's
That makes sense.
people. It's 2023, and people are going to vote with their hobby dollars. Whether it's I'm not going to buy the hardcover, I'm going to buy the app, or I'm
They're not going to sell the rules in the app, though. That's the problem. So, like, you can't. It's not like you can never have one over the other. That's what I don't like about it. Like, I just want the phone. I don't want the book.
That's a new thing. They actually, instead of that's like the way it should have been in the old days. Now that it should be a la carte now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you shouldn't have to buy
me to buy a physical book just to make the app that I already pay a subscription to use
so dumb
function.
Yeah,
I'm just going to cancel my subscription and make all my lists in spreadsheets. Because
there's plenty of resources out there at this point.
Yeah, like I'm just going to use a different website that has all of my rules for it, as we've been doing. And then I'll make all my lists in spreadsheet and submit those to events that I go to.
I mean, it's a good way. We can segue, if we want to segue into the app discussion, since we talk about it so much from right here.
So like, it doesn't matter how good the app is to me. Like, I'm simply not going to be buying those books anymore.
No. So the GW app came out, and we've all spent some time on it. And so outside of GW's business decisions and how annoying it is to based on everything we just said, Rob, how do you feel about the functionality of the app in general, though?
I mean, I think it's pretty okay. I mean, we talked earlier. I couldn't figure out how to put an assassin in my Imperial Knights list because apparently,
because you're using a fucking iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, apparently it's iOS. It doesn't work so well on that for Knights, but
it's probably just like a couple of small places.
How do you? I mean, like, is it just me, or is like I was not expecting this good of an app from them?
I wasn't either.
No, I don't think I was, but I guess kind of back in my mind, I did when they dropped the points on Friday and it was more like AOS. And I was like, oh, well, that AOS app was pretty good, or that AOS army builder was pretty good. We might have some hope here. And, so you already had your suspicions that just adopted like the superior, because you said that way back in the day. AOS app is great. Why did they make up this new janky shit? Well, I think when you started seeing the simplification of rules, that it was, that they're trying to kind of make it a little bit low hanging fruit, easier to maintain for them and their playtesters. And this kind of goes along with that because you don't have a whole lot of options in there. Let's be honest. No, like it's so like, here we go, right? Positive, negative, positive, right? Like this app is balling out of control. So much better than the old app. I've got them both in here. I was fucking around with the old one. I was like, oh my God. And I stuck with the old one and watched it get fixed and refined and become usable. Like it definitely became usable. But God damn it, dude. It is a clunky mess. And this new one, while, visually having some clunk to it, like is fast, clean, streamlined, drop downs. Everything is clickable. Mm-hmm. You can expand instantly to see your USRs. Like, my God. Like, I don't think they're clickable though. The USRs. Yeah. You can click on like lethal hits, any one of those, like bracket. Matt Beasy brought it up earlier in tactics. And I was like, holy fuck. It just shows you lethal. Where? Like if you click on like a weapon profile, like the drop down, like range weapon of like something, and it'll say it has lethal hits, click on lethal hits. Maybe I got the,
it
Walmart
totally does.
It fucking does.
Dude, yeah, maybe I got the Walmart version of this app, but mine don't do that. Are you looking at it like a knight right now? Yeah. Do you have range weapons? Do the range weapon drop down. What USRs are those little like those little like square brackets? Like they have like a here's a Crusader. They get sustaining hits. Hold on. So find a thing that says sustain hits and then click it. And just touch it. It's fucking wild. Like,
I just clicked on like a Night Titan, so it's got like anti-Titanic and devastating wounds. I just
click on devastating wounds and it tells you what the USR is.
Yeah,
it's fucking good.
Wait a minute,
but
it's possible that they like singled this out, like they recognized Rob's email and they were like, give him the dog shit version.
Yep,
I don't know. I signed in as a guest. Oh, you don't have a buy?
I wonder if that has something to do with it.
That's weird. Sign in as a guest. Okay, well, anyway, we did notice some problems, right? So, like, I think most people in chat can echo this, that the app is shockingly good. And I think that it's important for us members of the community
so far.
to not just like underplay that, because we have, as a community, pretty much talked relentless shit on the trash that was the GW app for a long time. And now they fixed it. Here we go. 10th edition launch. They give us a lot of our wish list from the last couple of years. A lot of the rules are free. The points are free. Data cards are free. Like, they did all these things we've been asking for. And as far as an index launch goes, this is the shiniest it's ever looked. You know what I'm saying? And so let's not just like funnel this like app success into the back of our head as like, yep, business as usual. It's like, hey, let's remember, like, they clearly want us to have a better experience playing their hobby. They want that.
Yeah.
Like, and they delivered on something here. But there's still some problems with the app. Wyatt had a couple earlier today.
Yeah. I mean, errors are errors. You know, things made by humans are going to have errors, but really the only two gripes that I have is, one, when you go to the reference page, as far as indexes, it has all the indexes and it has the combat patrols for everything.
Yeah, it's like there's like a spreadsheet rectangle, like a wall of text, basically.
Yeah, so you have like combat patrol, Thousand Suns, index,
big bold text. It's hard to look at first off.
Right. So the only thing I'm asking for is the ability to like turn off certain things, because
filter.
Yeah, I don't want to see the combat patrols, because that is a specific smaller way to play the game, and they actually do have different rules for the datasheet units and et cetera, et cetera. And it could cause issues of like, oh, I need to look up this rule from Gene Stealer Colts, and you might accidentally hit the combat patrol version, which has like different datasheet rules and stuff, and that could lead to miscommunication at the table. I don't like that. So just let me be like, only
simple
show me the
solution.
match
You
play
put, you know, the filter
Only show me the
slider. It's like
indexes.
3 lines and a line going through it. You put a filter up there by game system. That's it.
Yeah. That would be nice to have. I don't think that's too hard an ask. And then the other thing that's been echoed by a number of people is that sometimes when you're building lists, it'll tell you exactly like where your error is. It'd be like, oh, like you have like too many of this data.
Or your options are wrong for your Terminator squad.
Yeah, but it doesn't say that. It just says error, right? It doesn't tell you.
No, I had mine. I clicked on it, and that's what it said. It said Terminator war gear options.
Oh,
wrong.
okay, sorry. So what I mean to say is, it's not telling you like, hey, idiot, you can't have 2 lightning claws
Exactly.
and a combi bolter.
And Battlescribe used to. They'd be like, too many melee weapons selected for Sergeant. They tell you exactly what it was. So I spent like 3 minutes trying to figure out how to make my Terminator squad legal, because of like just that one lack of information. Even though I did figure it out, and I just, you know, as I familiar with someone, I think that would, like, it's dope. Positive, negative, positive. It's dope that you tell me what the problem is. Get a little bit more specific of, like, because obviously the app knows what I did wrong. Like, just tell me exactly what I did wrong on that error report when I click on it.
Yeah, I mean, overall, like, I think the app, it functions great. It's easy to navigate. I like the way it looks. It's really easy to make lists. I think some of the graphic design could be a little bit better. When you build lists, there's
that's another good
splash
one.
art.
Fuck, Bizzle has one. I noticed this too. I forgot about it. If you select the data sheet, right, you got 5 guys, and then you start adding guys to the squad, it will give you an error because you haven't added an equal number of bolters and like fucking close combat weapons too.
Okay.
So if you start clicking the plus button to add guys to the squad, and they only, and like, you have those 2 go up too, please.
That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm assuming that they're gonna keep a pretty good eye on updating things and fixing it, and
But also we
that
need
sort of
bug
thing.
reports, and we have one too. Like an actual fucking not worked.
Oh yeah. That would be a nice, like, because most apps have that, like, you know.
Well, today
You
we
just gotta
discovered one
email
here,
them.
and as a community, we need to find more. Rob told Wyatt at the beginning of the show, how do you add allies to your fucking knights? And we were like, what do you mean? It's just right there. It's the bottom, dude. What are you talking about? He's like, no, it's not. We're like, Rob, you're a fucking idiot. And like Wyatt showed him like multiple times, and it's not there. And I was like, hold on. And I went.
I even tried to.
and it doesn't work on mine. And I was like, me and Rob have iPhones. You have a Droid. So on
I tried to make a
iOS,
new. I even tried to make a new army and it doesn't even let me get allied detachments on there or nothing.
So while I could see allied detachments in my two other lists that I made real quick, I could not make it show up in Knights, just like Rob was having experience. So like it seems like there might be some bugs between iOS and Android. So be aware of those guys and share your findings, because GW did rapidly address these bug reports in real time on the last app launch. Like one of the first ones that we complained about was no duplicate function. Like that lasted a couple days.
Jeez. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I like it so far.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually kind of gangster that like how fast and responsive I can just see my index cards on it. You know what I mean? So, but they did say that it's not free forever. So what do you think? Do you think it's going to correspond with codex drops? Like the first codex that drops is the day that the app's no longer free?
Well, that's what happened last time. As soon as like the Necron and Space Marine codex came out, they were locked out.
No. The app was still free. It's just they just got booted? I thought you just had to keep buying the new ones because you only had the old ones still.
No, you had so the Space Marine data set, basically they updated it to the codex and you had to put in a code. And that's when it started.
Well, was the app ever free though? Was the Army Builder function ever free on the old app?
I don't know, because I could never get it to fucking work.
I think it was paid for from the beginning.
Yeah, I used it when it was free, like initially, and then I was like, I couldn't even get it to work then. And I was like, nah, I'm good.
It was trash. It was pure garbage. That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is not pure garbage. It's like, we got to give some positive reinforcement to GW. Good job, guys.
Yeah, no, I think they did a really good job with it so far. Just give me my damn assassins on my.
Yeah, fix the. There's
my voids.
You guys have a mistake. There's something going on, guys. Get your iOS developers on this.
I'm sure it'll be addressed. I mean, we haven't even had an update yet on it,
No, we haven't. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think this is a great way to start things off. It's going to have some growing pains. I don't really have any legitimate complaints about it other than like superficial gripes.
Truth. So we just wanted to like bring that because we did spend like a whole bunch of months talking so much junk on the old app.
And the export functionality is pretty good on it too.
Did you guys see when I copy pasted that shit to fucking Messenger? It wasn't dog shit.
So much better,
bro, dude. How many times have you like copy pasted a fucking sick new list into fucking Messenger to show your friends, and you're like, "I'm sorry, guys, that was a mistake." Delete.
Yeah. Do I want it in HTML? Do I want it in text? Do I want it?
The Battlescribe one had like so much extra bullshit.
There was like 9 lines of just like game system, fucking season, like fucking
all those like pluses and parentheses would exceed the character limit in Discord.
Yeah.
I would turn all that shit off to make it actually usable, but then I couldn't reference my own rules, and I had to keep turning it on, turn it off, turn it on.
Yep.
Holy fuck, dude.
Savage.
Yep. So let's also talk about some hot topics, because in the gameosphere right now, the game isn't officially launched. Is it tomorrow that it launches, Rob?
I think it's Saturday, the 24th.
Yeah, Saturday.
So currently, now that people are playing the game, it's a little bit different than it was last week or the week before, when people were talking about, this is garbage, this is OP, my shit's trash. People are playing games now. And so we've isolated 2 hot topics of the day to talk about what's busted on them and possibly what would be a simple solution. We'll start with Desolators. Why Desolators? Why are they
hot combo? Yeah, so the hot combo with Desolators is you take a max unit, give them the super crack missiles. They're strength 10. I think they're good for light vehicles, medium-sized monsters, and everything underneath. And they have the indirect fire grenade launchers. And the combo is to take a attachable character. Apothecary is a popular choice. You can res a dude. Or a Primaris Librarian is a popular choice because he can do Psychic Mind Bullets and also gives a 4 of Invul save to the unit. And then you give one of those characters an enhancement called Bolter Discipline. That's like replacing our Warlord traits and relics. And what that allows them to do is get sustained hits. So when they shoot on 6s, you get an extra hit automatically, you get an extra die in the pool. And when they are in the Devastator Doctrine, they get that on 5s and 6s. Well, I would say you can only get the Dev Doctrine for one turn. Well, there's a stratagem for the Gladius Task Force that lets you put a unit into whatever you want. And you can play it throughout the game. So you put them in Devastator Doctrine every turn. There's another stratagem you can use for like a two-bar combo that gives them additional AP because the grenades are not very good on that front. And it's just wild. Like their data sheet ability, if they stand still, they ignore the penalties for firing indirect weapons. They have blast, so it's like D3 plus.
How many shots is the indirect fire gun?
It's D3.
So each one is D3 plus
so
1.
If you shoot a 10-man squad, it's D3 plus 2 per guy, number of shots. With
D3 plus 2 per guy?
Yeah, you get plus 1 for every 5 models.
Oh, yeah. So let's say, so you're shooting at like let's just go minimum math. So the minimum it can be is D3 plus 1.
Right.
So the smallest number it can be is 2.
Right,
2
so
shots.
20 shots.
So the smallest number it can be is 20 shots. And they hit on 4s if they moved. But they're going to have Oaths a Moment on, because that's the part of the combo. Is the rerolls.
Yeah, Oaths a Moment.
So, like, if you take a squad with just 20 shots, and they miss half of them, but 6, but you get to do full rerolls, you actually kind of want to hit on 4s to crit fish. It's like a sick math to know that you're going to have like 2 to 3 6s in each pool, giving you free hits. So 20 shots, hitting on 4s with full rerolls, all 6s adding 3 shots, wounding on whatever with full rerolls, ignoring cover with plus 1 AP, kind of makes that unit not suffer any of the like supposed balances of an indirect fire unit.
Right. And I mean, like their Castellan launchers, they're grenade profile. So strength 4, no AP, 1 damage. But like I said, you can add AP to that. A lot of people are saying like, well, I can just post them up in a building now and get that plunging fire against that like juicy infantry that I want to kill in the backfield. And it's just a crazy amount of shots, right? Like it overkills a 20-man Gaunt squad by like 30 models. It's insane.
So so can you split fire right now? I haven't even looked at
that. You can split fire out the wazoo. So right, like you have to allocate all the weapons. They can fire with both weapons as long as they're not pistols. So you could have like individual dudes split firing both weapon profiles all over the place if you wanted to. Because like the grenades in and of themselves are like, oh, tight. So that's a good way to remove like T3 infantry in the back. But then on top of that, you add the super crack missiles. So
a weapon can shoot all of its profiles?
Yeah, every model is like that. They can shoot all of its guns as long as it's not a pistol or like a psychic attack thing. Yeah, so you have the crazy grenades followed by super crack launchers at something else or at the same target if you want to.
Realistically, this unit can stand out there and like dumpster. Just absolutely dumpster multiple units pretty effortlessly, including models that can't see. So that's very powerful. That seems to be a very like 9th edition level power spike.
Yeah, I mean it kind of makes sense. Like the points cost for Desolators seem to be kind of a holdover because they're like a brand new unit. They only had like a little bit of time to see play before all this happened because they came out. What was the name of the box? Like Agastus or
Agastus.
Yeah, and so like they saw play where it's like, oh, I'm going to bring like 30 of these nerds and like do all this crazy stuff. And then with the new paradigm, like this one crazy unit with the attached leader, with the enhancement, with some stratagems, and there's even other wild stuff like you can play Ultramarines, and if you take Uriel Ventress. He can give one unit in your army deep strike. That's just what his special ability is. I think they can get in drop pods, so you could do a drop pod version of it.
Oof, nice.
So, what's the solution? How do you make this unit fit the current kind of power level that the edition is supposed like more or less in right now?
First and foremost, I think bolter discipline needs to change. Not just on Desolators, it can get out of control. There's a lot of weapon systems, like we were talking about your Blood Angels, Grav Devastators, because you can put a character in there. And when you have the number of shots coming from grav with the anti-vehicle, it can go.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
actually pretty crazy because at first we thought Devastators couldn't have a character, but it turns out like a Blood Angel Sanguinary Priest could join Devastators with Bolt of Discipline. And I was like, I'm putting a squad in my army, but it actually gets really nasty to have just like those like 12 shots with sustained hits with full rerolls with those exact same combos that you're talking about with anti-vehicle 2. It actually, I mapped it out earlier on my walk when I was walking the dog, and I was like, so it basically auto kills any 2-up save vehicle up to 18 wounds. And reasonable math.
Yeah.
Like I was like, damn.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, even if you were to change Bolt or Discipline to where it only works on bolt weapons, you can still get crazy with just like heavy bolters. You can get crazy with Stern Guard veterans. If you take a 10-man squad of Stern Guard veterans, drop pod them with a character, they're going to have 30 shots with their rapid fire 1. And then out of those 30, you're going to have the procs of 5 and 6s explode. And then that whole dice pool gets moved over to the wound pool, and you're fishing for 6s, and those 6s do mortal wounds. So like at that point, you don't even care about the AP.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So we got to take Bolt of Discipline and maybe make it a Bolt of Discipline. It's kind of weird. It's called Bolt of Discipline, and it works on missiles and fucking grav technology.
Yeah, I would go so far. I mean, like, and I'm talking like from a Space Marine player point of view. Like, if you change Bolter Discipline to only bolters, I am 100% going to deep strike 10 Stern Guard veterans and slap you with a bunch of mortal wounds off of that crazy dice pool. Right? That's what I want to do, and I recognize objectively that's still too strong. That's too much. So there's got to be like a from the ground up redesign of Bolter Discipline, because it's too easy to like skew it way out into the weeds and do OP stuff. Like that's got to change. Alternatively, I still think Desolation Marines are undercosted. Even without those buffs, they still perform really good at their job.
Could you change them at their points? Would you? So is the points adjustment? Was that? I mean, that's probably the easy solution because of the nature of like how.
Right, because if you don't want to change points, then you'd have to change how they interact with Oath of Moment. Because even so, if you take away their ability, right, that's one way to change it, is like take away their ability to ignore the indirect fire penalty. Right. So if you take that away, just like you said, you don't care if they hit on 4s, because Oath of Moment is giving you full hit and wound rerolls regardless. So you're just rolling a bucket of dice. So I would say you have to change their point cost, or you have to do something. Even if you don't want to change their points, limit the squad size, so you can only have a max of 5. Like you get 5 and only 5. That's it.
There you go. There's a problem and there's multiple solutions. Nice. It's classy. See how this works? This is the phase we're in now, guys. We're getting games in. We're seeing oppressive combinations that are inappropriately overpowered, compared to the contemporary army's availability. And then we have to talk about these so that these points can go up and maybe squad sizes change. This is where we're at in this open beta. So the other hot topic on the street, right? Because as Rob mentioned, Eldar get banned. People talk about Eldar. Wraith Knights again, Fate Dice again, etc.
And Wraith Knights came off of their apology tour and chose violence.
Too hard.
Yeah, like
what was your analogy earlier? It was like the guy you banned.
Oh yeah, he's like the guy who's banned on Facebook for sharing nasty memes, and then as soon as he gets unbanned, he shares nasty memes again.
Out of Facebook jail.
Yeah, goes right back. Yeah, they're just crazy strong. They're super efficiently points costed. There's a lot of stuff in the Eldar decks that's a little undercosted for what they do. Fire Prisms is an example. They're like 125. And then
how the fuck is a Furiosa Dreadnought 165? Get the fuck out of here. GW, you're fucking up.
Yeah. Points are an issue across the board, I'd say. And then you get into the whole Fate Dice thing. And that's where people were kind of losing their minds because of how Fate Dice could interact with devastating wounds weapons, like your D-cannons and stuff. It'd be like, oh, well, I can just flip a dice to a 6. So,
and it says unmodified 6, right?
Yeah, and the fate dice do not count as modifying the dice. So one of the things that people have said, even today in chat, is, well, I'm flipping the dice, so I am like modifying it, right? Like it's kind of like the discussion where we talked about auras, where the word in common parlance is what we would use to describe what is happening in real life, right? Like I'm taking this dice and I'm changing the outcome of the dice. I'm modifying it, right? That's what you would say. So if you change fate dice to a modifier, it no longer procs devastating wounds. You have to actually physically roll that 6, and that kind of tones it down to what it's kind of supposed to be, like a spicy 6. That's fine. Or you just change how weapons work, different things like that. But let's see what they do. There's already...
I mean, that's a classic fix right there. Fate dice always count as modified die rolls.
I don't think that's too far of a reach, to be honest with you.
Super easy. That's a classic fixture there, and of course, point adjustments are going to be the name of the game. Is the Wraith Knight too cheap, or is he just too hard? What's this? Isn't he kind of expensive?
Let me pull up his thing. I mean, he's a beast. Space Marine, got to go all the way back up to Eldari.
Because I've been hearing a lot of rumors of like Wraith Knight.
I will say it, man. Being able to use this app on the podcast to pull stuff up really fast, pretty tight. Move 10, T12, 2 up save, 18 wounds. Doesn't give me the points in the reference side. But I mean, yeah, his guns are spicy. His melee is spicy. He's got a good ability.
Scorpion said 415 points off of Allen's 370. Gets you 2 cannons.
The other thing, too, is he is a monster and not a vehicle. So anti-vehicle rules don't work on him. And he is towering. And with the way that towering has kind of a feels bad interaction with a lot of terrain, he can just be like, uh-oh, fucko, you can't be obscured.
So why again has towering become oppressive?
So we have ruins, right? And it states that if you're not fully within or behind the footprint, people can't see you unless they're like around the side and have full line of sight. Make sense? Towering is an exception to that and has true line of sight through all pieces of terrain all the time. So
but if you're partially obscured, you're still going to get cover.
You get cover.
Yeah. Well, the problem is that this stuff is so strong, they don't give a fuck about cover.
Yeah, because I'm sure.
So it's like, oh, I get the benefit of cover.
So every piece of terrain every piece of obscuring piece of terrain on the table that has like a wall, blown out ruin side that is normal under every other circumstance, you can't see through it. It's like he sees the world for what it is, and everyone else sees this abstract version of the world.
Yeah. So
he's like, I can shoot you right through that window, you idiot. It's like, there's no window here. What the fuck are you talking about? I can't see through any windows. Yeah. Fix that.
Right, so towering needs a fix. A lot of independent TOs are already talking about changing either the abstract way that we view terrain as like there's no windows here.
Yeah, which has been
trying to help that out, or to revert towering to the way it was before. So we'll have to wait and see. But like,
I kind of like the way towering is right now. I just think that terrain would need to get like you need to catch terrain up to that. Because if you need, as for competitive players and tournament organizers, they basically have already kind of come to understand what the appropriate amount of terrain on the table is for blocking line of sight. So you can't have that terrain that's been on the table blocking line of sight now suddenly not block any fucking line of sight to anybody from a towering model. So you have to decide.
I think there's a middle ground here too, because we have this framework of rules, and that like ruins specifically give you this obscuring trait. But something like a hill or a bunker or your like crates or forests do not. So then it makes what you're hiding behind important. And that makes a lot of sense. That's like a fair way to play the game, except that towering models are like, I'm playing a different game. I don't give a fuck about that. So if you just change it to where towering doesn't interact with those things that are obscuring, quote unquote, then it becomes more fair because you're like, I have these important models. I don't want to get schwacked turn 1. I can put them behind this thing and hide for a turn at least. Yeah.
Yep. And the thing is, I think that's just a simple unforeseen consequence because, of course, in a vacuum for playtesting, GW never playtest right anyways. Like, like back in the day where it's like, who would take 3 Falcons? That's preposterous. Right? Like, it's like, No, like we all will, dog. If they fuck, like
What was the percentage on them dying?
it's like less. It's like less than 1%. Space Marine, the
Yeah.
last kid,
Yeah.
like 1%,
Dude, it was so brutal.
like 1 in 100 chance. Like it's crazy. Yeah, we'll take 3, motherfucker. So like, yeah. So we're playing these games. We're figuring it out. We're posting solutions as we go. Wraith Knight, points seem to kind of be okay because he's like. But how about like a secondary solution to any model? Like, 'cause he's kind of like epic hero level. Like he's kind of more Terran-esque. You know what I mean? Like the fact that you would have 3 in your army might be also the problem.
I could see that. I'm not exactly sure if that solves the issue. Because one of the reasons that we so wanted terrain to work the way that it was working is because it's useful. Because even if your opponent only has 1 Wraith Knight, that 1 Wraith Knight, if utilizing towering, you can kind of look at the table and single out exactly the unit that you want to cripple turn 1 and do so. And even then, maybe you don't even need towering because they do move so fast. You can move to an angle to see stuff.
That's not
that you
much
wouldn't be
different
able
than
to see
somebody
normally.
focus firing you with a bunch of 65-point indirect fire shots, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, so it's bad news all around. But the consensus is that towering needs an adjustment.
but because it does, because there's other armies that have multiple towering, not just one. In my version of the fix, which is make him an epic hero, it doesn't fix with knights and shit.
Yeah, and I definitely understand. Like, if you're playing knights and this whole thing is talking about fucking you up, I am sorry. I know how that feels. I have a Lord of Skulls. If I was on the giving end of towering, I would love it. But if you're on the receiving end, it's real feels bads, right? And a rule can be strong and fair, and that's good for the game. If a rule is strong and it gives feels bads and it feels unfair, then that's bad for the game.
Yeah, Tiger Strike painted our boy OTP HGZ. He's like, the problem with devastating wounds with the fade dice is like, oh, here's a 6 and my damage is 2d6. Here's a 5 and 4 9 mortals no save. Like, yeah, the fact that you can kind of chain them like that.
Like, yeah, that's a problem. That's what we're talking about. If you change what fate dice can interact with, that could work. Or if you change those interactions to only unmodified and you change the definition of what fate dice do to like a modifier, that could fix some of it. Because that's like their thing. I want the Eldar players to keep their thing because you can use it for a multitude of things. And I don't want the mechanic to be completely destroyed because of this one interaction.
Facts. That's a good point too. Anyway, I think that's a good show, guys.
Maybe I'll get a game of 40k in before you guys.
I think you might if I know anything about you.
Will. I can't play it all right now, so it's like it's 100% chance.
Kenny doesn't come out of the cave.
I'm coming out on the 22nd. I'm definitely going to play a game on the 22nd.
Today is the 22nd.
Next month.
That's like 100 years from now.
Yeah. I might play a game on the 1st, though, too. I might go play at my local game shop. So, we'll see. I'm trying to get a Sanguinor painted up. I'm trying to get my Devastators painted up so I can run my dreads, my birthday list. So, I'm pretty fucking excited about that.
But it looks sick.
Thank you. My super overpointed dreadnoughts. So now that I've heard of some of these other point costs brought up, I'm like, God damn it.
I don't know. That 10 dreadnought list seems awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, it is fucking awesome.
I mean, even if I ran my triple Land Raider World Eaters, I'd be like, that's a lot of dreadnoughts, dude. That's an uncomfortable amount of dreadnoughts.
It is an uncomfortable amount of dreadnoughts. What's the correct amount of dreadnoughts that is uncomfortable?
A 9.
9?
9's a lot of anything, dude.
9 is a lot of anything.
You ever seen 9 dreadnoughts in person? That's scary.
How about 9 dicks in person?
Yeah.
That's worse.
Yeah.
That's like 8 too many.
9 is a lot of anything, no matter how you slice it. So let's end the show there.
I love that everybody picked up on that.
It's one of my favorite sketches. We all know where it was going. Thank you, Rob, for just bringing us to the conclusion.
It's a well-oiled machine.
I mean, I don't like beating around the bush sometimes.
Nice follow up. Well, Wyatt, you want to take us out of here?
Rob?
Do I actually do it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching or listening. Make sure to head on over to thelongwar.net for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today. No, but seriously, that's how we pay for shit.